War is a canvas painted in chaos, fear, courage, and endurance. Battles are fought on the front lines, in the mud, under the rain, and across endless fields scarred by artillery. Soldiers march through these landscapes, bearing weapons, rations, and the weight of uncertainty. Yet, amid the roar of guns and the whistle of shells, there exists another kind of battlefield, one that is quiet, fragile, and deeply human. The battlefield of words. Letters from soldiers to their families, friends, and lovers carried hope, despair, truth, and sometimes secrets that shape the course of history. These letters were the lifeline of emotion, the bridge between the horrors of war and the humanity waiting back home. They are the voices of those who faced death, yet dared to put pen to paper. In 1914, as the world descended into the First World War, letters became a medium for soldiers to preserve their sanity and retain their humanity. Young men, often barely out of adolescence, were sent to distant fields where survival was uncertain. Each letter was a thread connecting two worlds, one of danger and bloodshed, the other of home, warmth, and normalcy. These letters documented not just individual experiences, but collective memory, capturing moments of history from a personal perspective. In them we find the heart of war, the fear, the longing, and the courage that official reports cannot convey. Private Thomas Hargreaves was 19 when he wrote his first letter from the trenches of Ypres. His pen trembled not because of the cold, but because he felt the weight of words carrying the lives of those he loved. "Mother," he wrote, "the mud is endless and the nights are colder than any winter I have known. Yet I keep thinking of home, of the garden where the roses bloom, and it gives me strength to endure." In these simple words, the duality of a soldier's life becomes clear: the terror surrounding him and the sanctuary of memory that kept his spirit intact. Thomas's letters were later discovered in a collection of soldiers' correspondence, revealing the unvarnished realities of life in the trenches: the hunger, the mud, the constant threat of shell fire, and the profound hope that sustained them. Letters were not mere diaries. They were instruments of history. They often contained vital information about troop movements, morale, and even strategic insights. During the Second World War, soldiers' letters sometimes carried subtle observations about enemy positions, movements, and fortifications. These letters were intercepted, analyzed, and sometimes used as intelligence to alter military strategy. The seemingly personal became the political. The intimate became influential. Corporal James Whitman, stationed in North Africa, wrote to his sister about the unusual number of trucks near the enemy camp, with strange markings. Though written casually, these words reached the intelligence officers and influenced a planned operation, demonstrating how soldiers' letters could inadvertently change the course of battles. The emotional weight of these letters cannot be overstated. Soldiers poured their hearts into every sentence, attempting to maintain a connection with loved ones while hiding the horrors surrounding them. Letters often contained reassurances that belied the fear and despair of the front lines. Private Eleanor Williams, serving as a nurse on the front lines, wrote to her mother, "I am safe, mother, though the wounded are many and the nights are long. I see bravery in every soldier's eyes, and it inspires me to continue." And these letters not only provided comfort to her family, but also documented the resilience and humanity that persisted amid devastation. Letters from the front lines also revealed the complexities of soldiers' thoughts and feelings. They spoke of camaraderie, grief, longing, and sometimes love. Lieutenant Samuel Green, writing to his fiancée from the beaches of Normandy, confessed, "I hold on to the thought of you each morning before the sun rises. It is what keeps me steady when the world feels unsteady." These words transcend time, allowing modern readers to glimpse the inner life of those who endured extraordinary circumstances. They are proof that even in war, humanity persists. The process of writing itself was a form of survival. For many soldiers, the act of putting pen to paper offered a moment of reflection, a chance to process the chaos of battle. Letters were written under candlelight, in tents, or in fleeting moments of calm, often hurriedly before returning to the dangers of duty. They carried the scent of earth, sweat, and ink, and were folded, sealed, and sent across continents, sometimes never reaching their intended recipients. Despite this, soldiers continued to write, as though the act itself could preserve their sanity and maintain a connection to the life they had temporarily abandoned. During World War I, letters also served as propaganda, both intentionally and unintentionally. Governments encouraged soldiers to write home, emphasizing the importance of morale on the home front. Families in turn would share these letters publicly, boosting support for the war effort. However, many letters were brutally honest, revealing the true toll of combat. These letters, preserved in archives, offer historians a raw and invaluable perspective, far removed from sanitized official accounts. The Second World War amplified the significance of soldiers' correspondence. With global theaters of war, communication became a lifeline. Letters transported the emotions, news, and secrets of soldiers across oceans, connecting families in Europe, Asia, Africa, and the Americas. The stories contained within them illustrate the global human dimension of the conflict. Soldiers described unfamiliar landscapes, cultures encountered during campaigns, and the challenges of adapting to extreme conditions. They recorded small victories, acts of kindness, and moments of despair, painting a vivid, human picture of a world at war. Private First Class Edward Halloway, stationed in the Pacific, wrote to his younger brother about the camaraderie among soldiers. "Even in the midst of uncertainty and danger, we laugh. We sing old songs and tell stories from home. It reminds us that we are alive, and that life outside these islands exists." These letters, though personal, provide historians with nuanced insights into daily life during wartime, revealing the psychological strategies soldiers employed to cope with trauma and maintain a sense of normalcy. The language of soldiers' letters often mirrored the duality of experience, the stark realities of war alongside the tender longing for home. Corporal Marcus Reynolds, fighting in the European theater, described a night under artillery fire in a letter to his mother. "The earth shakes with each explosion, and yet I close my eyes and imagine the smell of bread baking in the kitchen back home.